Welcome into another week of batting cleanup. Thanks for saving a week for us. We weren't here last week because there was this craziness with a basketball coach leaving, and then a basketball coach maybe coming, and then last thing we know, it was Sunday, and we were like, oh, well, we forgot. So forgive us, please. And thank you for joining us again on Batting Cleanup. I'm Melissa Orange. He's Evan Kamiko. And Evan, I'm going to give you about 60 seconds for bragging rights over the weekend, and then we're moving on. Ready, set, go.
Well, here's the thing: is as much as I love bragging rights, it's really early in the season. Look, am I happy the Cubs took 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers? Yes. Does it matter in April? No. Because the issue is the Cubs, they still lost 2 or 3 in San Diego. They lost 2 or 3 in Texas. In 2 series they should have won. So look, I'm happy that the Cubs were able to beat the Dodgers. It was a fun series, as I kind of expected. And look, I mean, that first game we were watching together, it was like 9-8, 9-7. It was high-scoring games in all 3 of those. But look, it's great for the Cubs. They got a really big series win against the Dodgers before hitting this road stretch. And they dropped the first series in San Diego. Now it's Seattle and Arizona, then back home to Miami, which hopefully I will be going to one of those games next year. But we'll see. I mean, it's really early to tell. I'm happy the Cubs got the win, but the Cubs pitching isn't healthy. The Dodgers pitching clearly isn't healthy. The Dodgers themselves aren't healthy. So, yeah, it's great. And, yeah, I'd love to brag. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter because the Dodgers are still going to lose in the NLDS to the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Okay, your time is up. Okay, great. All right, so moving on. It's moving on. Hey, speaking of baseball, going to New York next week for the Olympic Media Summit. And when we were on our call yesterday, our leader is a big Mets fan. And so he's like, who wants to go to a Mets game? It's like, I want to go to a Mets game. So we're going to try to fit in a Mets game while we're in New York for the Media Summit. They're playing the Pirates, so should be fun.
Well, the Pirates are good. The Pirates.
Yeah, they started off pretty well, so.
But they did this last year. They started off really
That's what we were talking about, yeah.
Once May turn, but I don't know. This could be a different Pirates team. They got a really good bullpen. Paul Skeens probably due up in the next month. Wouldn't you be surprised? Because he's like 6 innings of 2-hit ball in, AAA Indy right now. So that would be fun. But Citi Field is fun. It's a good time. Some really good food. You can go get the waffle cone. They have this waffle cone.
Okay.
Ice cream, which is like a waffle and ice cream. It's really good. The Big Ma's, it's mozzarella sticks there. If you need food at Citi Field, hit me up. I've been there.
All right. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's get into Arkansas right now because they're back on the road. And before we jump into our discussion, I want to play a quick soundbite from Dave Van Horn after Arkansas swept their series with San Jose State.
I don't think we're near what we're going to be. I think we can be a lot better than we are. Maybe not on the mound so much, but offensively 1 through 9, I think our lineup can be stronger. And we're tough outs. We take walks and we have runners on, but we got guys that are going to swing the bat better. I really believe that. So I wouldn't even think we're close to peaking yet.
Yeah, so Evan, we know how well Arkansas plays at home. And now they hit the road. And the only loss that they have right now in SEC play is on the road in the state of Alabama. Now they go to Tuscaloosa, who I was just looking at the Crimson Tide's record, and they have won all of their series at home in the SEC, which is over Tennessee and over South Carolina. They go on the road, and it's a completely different story. So you know that this Alabama baseball team is so much more comfortable at home than on the road, and Arkansas has got to go on the road and play in that environment.
Yeah, and it's, again, one of those next challenges that I think for DVH in this squad, you kind of look at it. You had that first away series at Auburn, and, they should have swept them. Let's be real. It should have been a sweep. They lost game 3, or game 3. Game 3 they lost. But now you look at this Alabama team, and like you said, Tennessee at home, they lost the first game in that Tennessee series, came back and won the second 2, which is really impressive and shows a lot because Tony Vitello's team out in Knoxville is really good. And this Alabama team, the thing about them is they're really young, new head coach. I believe it's Rob Vaughn. He just came from Maryland, where he was coaching last year. And that he was really good in that Maryland program. They were, stalwarts in that Big Ten for a couple of years before, Indiana, Nebraska, and Iowa have kind of creeped up in the standings of the Big Ten. Excuse me, I can't speak. But then you look at the road side, and this is a team that scored 3 runs in 3 games against Kentucky. Now, Kentucky is probably the biggest sleeper in the SEC. They're 11-1, really good home team, really good road team. But this is a Bama team who they've traveled well, and they played pretty well when they were in Frisco a couple of months ago, around the same time when Arkansas was in Dallas. They faced a couple of ranked opponents, killed the Indiana team back then. So it's a Bama team that's really young and has really exciting players like Gage Miller, who kind of lead the lineup. But they kind of have everything. And when you put it at home, and Arkansas, again, they haven't had too many road tests. And this is really I would say the biggest one as of now. And then obviously South Carolina is next week, another ranked opponent. But we'll get there. That's next week's batting.
Yeah.
Let's not jump ahead too far. But it's a really good Bama team. I'm excited to see how Arkansas fares on the road.
Yeah, Dave said something after the Ole Miss sweep that I thought was interesting because he was asked about, you haven't lost a game since that Auburn game in Game 3. And he said, obviously I was jumping back and forth on airplanes that week, and I don't remember much of it. But that Game 3, they had the lead and then they lost the lead. And he said that game specifically really did something for this team where they weren't going to do it again. They didn't want to feel the way they felt in that Game 3 against Auburn, and we have seen this team not lose a game since then. And I'm wondering now if they go on the road, it's almost like a redemption road trip for them as they try to sweep Alabama because of what happened at Auburn.
And I think it is because, again, you look at the state of Alabama and where both those baseball teams are. Auburn isn't great in the SEC, but we know they're a good team. We've seen them play. They gave Arkansas their best. They're going to get Bama's best this weekend. And, again, can you take 2 or 3 at least on the road? That would be a really big step. Now, this is a very long winning streak that Arkansas is on right now. So eventually you hope they lose now before they, somehow the wheels fall off in late May, early June. Tournament time. And, you don't want that to happen. So you kind of hope they lose now. And if they're going to lose a series now and then, I think this is the series 2 on the road at Alabama, because it'll be the tune-up for when they have to go to Lexington and then go to Texas A&M in a couple of weeks in May. So if you're going to lose a series, it's going to be now. But I think you're absolutely right. This is you want to get over that Bama hump and be able to sweep a team in Alabama.
Yeah, you do. Let's talk pitching. And I always like to bring up our K count with Hagan when we talk about the pitchers and the guys on the mound. At 83 right now. So that's where we are in our K count with Hagan. But do you have any sense of holding your breath with this bullpen? Like you kind of mentioned, of a slip up. We kind of saw a little bit of Hagan being a little shaky, but then he kind of regained himself against Ole Miss. And so, is there ever a point where you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm worried this bullpen is going to fall apart at some point? Have a moment of weakness and lose a game.
I think you're always nervous about that any game because you don't know what's going to happen. And especially we've seen lately, and I'll take Brady Tigert, for example. He hasn't gotten kind of the run that he was on early in the season. He's kind of, his numbers are down a little bit, ERA up in the 2s, not fully striking out, giving up a lot more walks. He's walked 19 guys now, and that was really low in the beginning of the season. So it's more of the question of if the bullpen's going to slip up, it'll be kind of like Christian Fauch going into that LSU game where he had the bases loaded and had to get out of a jam with only 1 out. And luckily got the sac fly, scored a run, but then got out of it. So those are the moments that you really look at and you think, okay, this is where it could be. But quite honestly, this bullpen is so deep right now and pitching really well that you're not too concerned. It's more guys that when they get to the mound, I'm like, okay, how are they going to fare today? I think Parker Coyle is a big question mark. Fauch's as well in the terms of, is his fastball going to have movement, and is that secondary pitch there? When that secondary pitch was there, like it was on Tuesday against San Jose State, it's a wipeout. It's devastating. 98 straight to an 85-mile-an-hour slider. So I think the biggest concern for this bullpen is, again, is Gage Wood going to be consistent? Is Cody Frank going to be consistent? And some of the guys who have given up big numbers, if you look, Cooper Dossett, 4.91 ERA right now. Gackle, 3.66. They've been brilliant in spots, but I don't think it's a big concern, but there are moments of higher leverage where I think any baseball fan's kind of on their edge of the seat because that's the game.
Yeah, I didn't know if you heard this. Did you hear that DVH talked about Tigert being sick the day before the Sunday game? Yeah, so he talked about that on Sunday. I was listening. He goes, I don't know if you guys know this, but Tiger was sick the day before, and to a point where it's like, we might have to send you home. And then he pitched on Sunday, and that might kind of be why he was a little bit off on Sunday. But you never know when that stuff is going to happen, right? And you got to kind of step up and see if there's anybody else who can kind of help fill that role because Tiger wasn't 100%. So we'll see what happens when they go to Alabama. I'm looking forward to it. I was also looking at the stats. I don't know if you notice this. I'm gonna test you because I like to put you. I don't like this screen. We're all cut off on this screen, so I'm gonna hit a button and see if this. Look at that. We're fixed now. Okay, so you gotta love technology sometimes. So I have a quiz for you. Ready? There are 2 players on Arkansas's team, just 2, who have yet to hit a home run.
pulled up on a computer.
Don't you look. Don't you cheat now.
No, I'm not cheating anymore.
I got two players
Okay.
who have not hit a home run.
Oh, whoa. That's a tough one. Parker Rowland, I think, is one.
Are you cheating?
No, I swear to God.
I don't believe you.
Can I
Next.
flip my computer around so you can see?
Go like this. I'm blinders.
This is just like what's on right now.
Okay. All right.
So
Was I right at least? Was it Parker Rowland? Is he one?
Yes, he is one.
Okay, Parker Rowland, and the second one, I don't think Will Edmondson's hit a home run this year. It's either Edmondson or Ty Wilmsmeyer.
Nope, you're both wrong. They both have. They both have one.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, dang.
Edmondson hit that home run that like
Oh, you're right.
won them a game or something.
No, that was, yeah, you're right. Oh, okay, so who's the second one? It's Parker Rowland.
He's from the state of Arkansas.
Has he played games yet? Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Didn't get that.
Mhm.
Detroit.
now
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. This is a tough one. I don't know. Give me like 20 more seconds to think.
20 seconds.
So let's go.
You would be so bad on Family Feud.
Yeah, I know. We used to do a game that when I internet wish around Family Feud. And
Yes, you'd be so bad at this game.
I'm bad. But at least I got Parker right away. That was cool. So the second one, Arkansas plays a good amount. Peyton Holt.
There you go. There it is. Congratulations. But you know that kind of blew me away that there's only two guys who haven't hit a home run when you're usually looking at like you got five guys who are your home run hitters, and that just says a lot about this Arkansas lineup.
Yeah, it's a really deep again, and we've seen this weekend. Tuesday was the first day Peyton Holt played in like 2 weeks. And he played right field, not because Kendall Diggs was hurt or anything. Obviously, to give Diggs a day off.
Yeah.
You need to put him somewhere because he's a spark plug. He's a guy who can come in and hit the other direction and, give good at bats. And Jason Jones, another name that we were talking about highly in the offseason and early on in the season where, he's a big power guy in left field and he's just been beat out. Like, there's no other way to put it. Edmondson and Lovich have just played really well together. And you kind of forget, again, and we talk about this all the time, it's because of how deep this team is, not only pitching-wise, but also position player-wise, where you kind of have four guys rotating for two spots right now in the outfield.
Yeah, you do. Arkansas and yeah.
Glove is way too high to really take him out of a lot of these big SEC games. And
Yeah.
he's hitting well lately, so that's all plus.
Yeah, you got to love that. By the way, who do you think leads, by the way? Another bonus question. Who leads the team in home runs?
Blinders on because I did pull myself, but I haven't looked. I'm gonna go with Ben McLaughlin. Actually, it's probably Vahiva. What am I?
It is Vahiva Aloy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you go. I'll let you quiz me next week, so we'll be even, okay?
Yeah, 9. We will 9 home runs. Kendall's got 6.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna read. Ben's got 5. Nolan's got 6 home runs.
Yeah. So you gotta love that. Look, I'm excited as always to kind of see what this number one team does. And the one thing that Peyton Holt said yesterday after that San Jose State win is that everybody's just consistent on this team, and they show up every day ready to work, ready to play like it's the biggest game on the schedule, and you're seeing that right now from this team that's 29-3 and 11-1 in conference play. Hey, quickly, I know you talked to Courtney Deifel today. They're on the road at South Carolina, and I think that they've really turned a corner and figured out who they are as a softball team.
Yeah, and they're finally getting healthy again. That's the big thing. And Reese Bauerlein's been hurt. Robin Herron's been hurt the last couple of weeks. So you've really only been relying on 2 to 3 pitchers. But it's the entire rotation. It's people stepping up. Nia Carter hitting her first home run of the season. Reagan Kramer doing a terrific job of hitting the ball the other way. That's something that she's really strong at. And, Coach Deifel said she loves the matchups and playing those matchups week in and week out. And this is a team that they can attack you 1 through 9 if they're really humming really well. And not to mention somebody who we were really, critical on early in the season. I know I was. Hannah Gamble is really, quieted everybody. I think she leads the team in home runs, and she's just hitting really well, or she's up there with Brie Ellis. But Hannah's really turned it on and has really, I think for this team, they needed her to get going because she is the heart and soul of this softball team. The BB Arkansas native, her, all the accolades, the Team USA appearances. She's really that, leader of this team. And for her to turn the corner, because she's hitting great in SEC play, much better than she was not an SEC player when we were a bit worried about her, I think has really, jolted something in this Arkansas lineup.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to see, not to mention Kennedy Miller, the freshman catcher who just continues to get better week in and week out.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch them find their way again because they do. They're a lot of fun when they're winning. All right, Arkansas women and men on the road. So you get to watch them on television, and we get to talk about them again next week after they go play Alabama and South Carolina. That is going to do it for this week's Batting Cleanup. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch up with you guys next week. See you later.